The heart of our city feels a little heavier today. A collective lump has formed in our throats, a shared anxiety that hums beneath the bustling energy of our streets. It's a feeling we've grown accustomed to, a painful byproduct of loving the brave souls who run toward danger when every instinct screams to run away. But this time, it feels different. This time, it's personal. This time, it's Herrmann. For those of us who follow the scanner, whose ears perk up at the sound of a distant siren, the news that crackled through the airwaves was like a punch to the gut. A multi-alarm fire in a dense Chicago neighborhood is always a cause for concern, a familiar dread that settles in the pit of your stomach. We hear the reports, we see the smoke, and we pray for the safety of everyone involved. But when a name you know, a name that has become synonymous with courage and a certain brand of endearing grumpiness, is pulled from the chaos, the abstract fear becomes a sharp, searing reality. Christopher Herrmann, a name that echoes in the hallowed halls of Firehouse 51. A man who is as much a fixture of Chicago as the Willis Tower, is in the hospital. The words feel wrong to type, a sentence that shouldn't exist in the real world. Herrmann is the steady hand, the gruff but loving father figure to the younger firefighters, the one who always has a story and a lesson to share over a beer at Molly's. He's the one who is supposed to make it out okay, to dust himself off, crack a joke, and live to fight another day. The fire itself was a beast, a raging inferno that clawed its way through a row of brick buildings with a terrifying speed. Witnesses described a scene of utter chaos, a wall of flames that seemed to have a life of its own, devouring everything in its path. And into that inferno, as they always do, went the men and women of the Chicago Fire Department. They are our modern-day knights, their armor turnout gear, their steeds the gleaming red engines that race through our streets. We may never know the full extent of the bravery that unfolded in the heart of that blaze. We may never hear all the stories of the lives that were saved, the split-second decisions that made the difference between life and death. But what we do know is that at some point, in the heat and the smoke and the collapsing structure, something went horribly wrong. Details are still scarce, a trickle of information that does little to quench the thirst for answers. We hear whispers of a structural collapse, of a desperate search, of the heart-stopping moment when they found him. The images that have emerged from the scene are haunting. The weary, soot-stained faces of his fellow firefighters, their eyes reflecting a mixture of exhaustion and a raw, palpable fear. This isn't just a fallen colleague. This is a brother. And now we wait. We wait and we hope and we pray. The sterile white walls of Chicago Med have become the epicenter of our collective anxiety. We picture his family, his wife Cindy and their 5 children, gathered in a waiting room, their world tilted on its axis. We think of his firehouse family, the tight-knit crew of 51, who are undoubtedly pacing the hallways, their usual boisterous energy replaced by a heavy, suffocating silence. It's in these moments that we are reminded of the profound sacrifice that our first responders make every single day. We see the flashing lights and hear the sirens, but we often forget the human cost of that service. We forget that beneath the helmet and the gear is a person with a family, with dreams, with a life that is precious and fragile. Herrmann is more than just a firefighter. He's a husband, a father, a friend, a mentor. He's the guy who would give you the shirt off his back, who would lecture you about your life choices 1 minute, and then defend you with a fierce loyalty the next. He is the embodiment of the blue-collar spirit of Chicago, a man who works hard, loves his family, and isn't afraid to speak his mind. To see a man like that, a man who has faced down countless fires and stared death in the face more times than we can count, now lying in a hospital bed, is a stark and painful reminder of the thin line our heroes walk. It's a reminder that their bravery is not invincibility, that their strength is not without its limits. The outpouring of support from across the city has been a beacon of light in this dark moment. Social media is flooded with messages of love and prayers for Herrmann and his family. Local businesses are putting up signs, offering their support to Firehouse 51. It's a testament to the impact that this one man and the department he represents has had on our community. In a world that can often feel divided and disconnected, a tragedy like this has a way of bringing us together. It reminds us of our shared humanity, of our capacity for compassion and empathy. It reminds us that we are all part of the same fabric, the same community.